a supplier, an account have one supplier. So we can define a relationship like a supplier has one account like this, and in the account table then we have a supplier ID, which is a foreign key reference to the supplier. And when we define this, we can use some sentence like supplier equals supplier first, which is return the a record of suppliers, and we can assign. We can use supplier.account, which will return the accounts belong to this supplier. So they are one-to-one relationship when we're using the belong to and has one. And also we have one-to-many relationship. For example, we have an example here, which is customer and orders. And one customer can have many orders, like you guys working on the venture. And when you working on a venture, you will have customer. They have many orders, not just one order. So you can define it like customer has many orders like this, and in the order table we have the customer ID, which is the foreign keys referring to the customer ID. And when we have has many orders like this, we can use some method like customer.orders, which will return on the order belong to a customer. So it's very convenient for you to when you don't need to write a complex query. So the third kind of relationships is many-to-many relationship. Actually, this relationship is a little complicated. So, for example, we have here like a patient will have an appointment with physicians, a doctor. So, patients will have many physicians. They can make appointment with lots of physicians. So, we have a relationship like patients can have many physicians, and on the other hand, physician will have many patients. They can take care of lots of patients at the same time. So this is many-to-many relationship. And how to define this relationship in Ruby on Rails? We can use something like has many rules. Do you see this? Yes. Okay. So you can define in a physician a sentence like a physician has many patients to appointment table, and in the patient table you define like how many physicians to appointment. And when you define something like this, you can access to both of them. Like if you have patients, so you can find on the physician who's this patient is have a problem too. And on the other hand, physician you can find on the patients they are taking care of. It's very convenient for you to use this kind of relationships instead of using complex query sentence. Because when you if you don't use this, you have to join D3 table in order to find the relate record belong to them. Yeah, it's very complex when you use join sentence. So we are saving by using this. However, when we define such relationship like this, we will have come to a situation like we use too many dots. For example, we have an example here that a customer have one address and a customer have many invoice. Yeah. So we define the relationship among them like an address belong to a customer, and a customer has one address, and also a customer has many invoice, and an invoice belong to only one customer. So that's the relationship between three of them. So when you want to access something like when you have an invoice, you want to find the address of this invoice, you have to use something like invoice dot customer dot address dot street to find the street of the customer which this invoice belongs to. When you want to find the city that this invoice belongs to, you have to use some sentence like invoice dot customer dot address dot city. It's very long. And this is not good when we are using something like this. So in Rails, they provide us some tool to deliver this. So the first solution is that we can define some function like this in the customer model. Like we define a street function which will return the street of the address of this customer. So when you call the invoice customer address dot street, you will just call the invoice customer address, which is here, return the customer address. The customer address will return this, will return this. Yeah. So when you define like this, you can have a much more shorter sentence. However, we can have better solution when we use the delegate keyword. Delegate keyword. So what is delegate keyword means? It means that when, for example, you call the street over a customer object, it will redirect this to the address. And for example, when you call the name of an invoice, it will redirect this name to the customer. And when redirect the name to the customer, it will redirect to the address. So when we use the delegate keyword, we will have a much more cleaner and shorter sentence like invoice customer name, which will return the name of customer, and invoice customer state, which will return the state of the address of the customer, which belongs to the invoice. It needs when we're using the delegate keywords. Okay. So another tip when we are using Rails is that, for example, we have a situation like this. When you use programming in the PHP, for example, you usually you will have your MySQL query mixed in the HTML code. Yeah. But when we moving to Ruby on Rails, because the Ruby on Rails follow the MVC architecture, so for example, this example is not a good example. This is a bad practice when we are programming in Rails. Why is it bad? First, this have a user file order last name. This is a view. This is an HTML file, and it have a model query in the views. So it's bad because in the view we shouldn't have access to the database. In the view we just only take care of the display, the data, not hiding some data like this. So in Rails, when we are dealing with these situations, we will have, like in this example, we have a user dot file order last name, which is we find the user ordering by their last name. So the first idea when we come into this is we can move this sentence to the controller path. So we will have a result like this. Now, in the controller, we will have a query of the user for the user variables, and this variable will pass into the views, and in the views we will have something like user to user. So in this example, we are moving the logic part of the view to the controller. However, this example is also not the best solutions, because in the controller know that the user have the last name column. So what have to say? We can say that the controllers know too much about the information of the model. For example, when we change the last name to another name, for example, we have to find on the controller which define it, and we change the name to the new name. So that is not good. So when we have a situation like this, we should move the fact that belong to the model to the model itself. So we arrive with a better solution, which is we use some scope, name scope. In Ruby on Rails, they have some name scope. For example, they have scope with the name orders and execute the order last name. So when in the controller, you just have to call user dot orders, and you will receive the user ordering by their last name, which is quite easier for you to maintain your code. For example, when you want to order a user by something else, for example, ordering by their first name or ordering by their birthday or something like that, you just change it here. Not have to go to the controller and change every controller. So this is in Ruby on Rails they call it name scope. And name scope they have the good function which we can change the name scope together. For example, we can for example, when we have a very complex query like this, for example, this is like something like a social network database. We have users, and we have to find a membership of these users. With these queries, we have the user membership where active is true and limit file and order by last time is scanning. So this is a very complicated sentence in user controllers, and this sentence should not belong in the controller. This should belong in the value controller, and it should belong in the model. So when we arise in such a situation like this, we can use name scope like before. For example, in the membership model, we can define a scope like only active. So where active is true, and we define scope order by activities, which is order last name. So you can see that D21 is actually where and order here. So when we define name scope like this in the user controller, we just call something like membership only active order activities and limit file with a more softer sentence, and in the controller we just call memberships is user file is an active membership. In a function like this function is defined here in the model. Yeah, this is much more easier to understand and much more easier to maintain the code. Another tip when we programming in Rails, especially when in view, is that Rails provide us some things like render view, render pixel views. For example, we have some. This is the post on the view, which will display the post, display on the post to the user. So when we have some code like this, this is rather complex. This is complex code. So when in the views, we have something like a loop here, and in the loop we have some code to display an item of connections. We should move this to a partial view, something like this. Yeah. So in the display, we just call the partial post object. So this will call the post.erb file here, and this file will actually display every item in the list here. So now the cost in the index record is much more easier to understand, because we just have 3 sentences here, and on the display is moving to here. However, we can because Rails is very intelligent, so here you can use a sentence like this. Yeah, renders here, and corrections is post here, and it will look to every record on the post and execute this view to display it for you. So this is equal to the previous one when we have post not hit do post blah blah blah. So it's much more shorter in this example. So when you are using Ruby and Ruby on Rails, I think that you will meet using of gems, the gem files. The gem file actually is a library that other people have already developed it. So I think that when you are develop a function, you should look for a gem file first to see if they have any people have already developed it, so you don't reinvent the wheels. And when I'm during the development, I come up with some useful gems for you when you are using Ruby on Rails. And so now I will introduce about some useful gems when you're developing. The first one I think useful is method error gems. This gem will actually when you develop, when in developing environment, and when you come with an error, with it we will have more specific and clear errors message. So you can have easier in debugging where the bug comes from. Yeah, this gem is quite convenient because they even have a command line here for you to type to see if any variables, to find the variable of the value of the variable here. So this gem is very convenient for you to debug. And the next gem is Figaro gems. When you develop, I think that you have many environments such as development environments, test environment, production environments, and each environment you have a different configuration. For example, when you have sending mail functions. So in the development environment, you have different account for sending mails, and in the production environment you have a difference. So when you're dealing with these situations, I think we should use Figaro gems because they provide us a convenient way to define something like an environment variable. So this variable will depend on the environment. For example, here we have application dot YAM file here. For example, here we define in the development environment the password is developers, and in production environment the password is users. And in your application, when you call this, for example, call env password, it will return the values, but the password depend on the environment you are using. So it's by convenient for use when you have different configuration for different environments. Okay. And the next games that I think useful is the Thin Sim. This is when you develop in the development environment the default web server of the Rails is Webpack, which is very slow. It is too slow. Every time you access it, it's very slow. So I suggest that we use the Thin Sim. Thin actually is fast and simple web servers. So in the development environment, we can use the Thin server instead of using the default Webpack, which is the Thin is much more better than Webpack because you event machines with a very good gem. So when we're using the Thin servers, the speed of the server will speed up very much. So you should try it. Another gem that I think is useful is the XAML gems. For example, this gems you know that in the Rails they use ERB in the view side to generate the XML. For example, we have an ERB file like here with this to be a lot of XML tag like this. But when we use XAML, we will have much more softer code comparing to the ERB files. For example, equally with this long code in the XAML, you just have much more softer and softer code. So I think we should when you begin a new project, you can make use of it. Sometimes to see it because it's softer than the classic ERB. Actually, I think XML is quite good gems in the view. So you can have some written on the Rails, the ways, some tips for you to write a little code like the Railway book, the Rails anti-pattern book, and two link here is Rails best practice, which is I recommend from these two shops. That's all. Question.
About the HTML. So, what actually is the good thing about HTML?
It's much softer than using ERBs. And
What is really convenient to program?
Yeah, I think it's convenient. For example, like in this example, you have to live here and you have to close it here.
Yeah.
In XAML, you don't have to close. You just have to like how to say.
Because my point here is that how could you handle the other tag? Let's say I don't like div. I have something like span.
Yeah, you can use something like here. This is percent and tag here,
Yeah.
which means that this is t tag here. So you just replace this with the span.
So you mean we have to learn all the convention again?
Yeah,
Just
but
like
it's simple, so I think you just check some hour to master it because it's simple.
So how about something like extra variable parameter inside the syntax? So I have JavaScript, and I like to put some
Actually,
variable.
I think that we must separate the JavaScript in a different file.
So but the HTML must contain something that the JavaScript can call. For example, I have a link, the A tag, but the A tag should have a code. So I know when people click on that link, I get that code and use. So
Because, for example, when you have a div and you have an on-click event here, for example, you can define it. For example, how to say it? Let's see.
Whiteboard, right?
Yeah.
It's a whiteboard. Whiteboard.
vẽ tự viết bò whiteboard.
Whiteboard.
Google.
I can go to the XML site for you to search.
Actually, my concern that when we have to deal with complex HTML data source, so
You
how
can sound it using XML.
you can join it
So-
with HTML. So
Okay,
you use this one
use-
and use
You
HTML.
can use XML instead of ERB, so I think it's no problem. When you're dealing with something like JavaScript or something else.
No, I'm dealing with the HTML tag,
Yeah.
and on the HTML tag I have complicated data.
Yeah, it can deal with complicated.
Okay, yeah, no, you need to have to learn more. Like in general, that the XAML can replace completely the ERB. So,
Yeah, it can be completely.
yeah, it's fine. It has a way to solve your problem. So. Okay. Yeah, just try.
Yeah.
Last time I used Dolphin,
Okay.
which was Python, and this is the Ben, because when you write the first time you write, you feel it's fast. When you have to debug it, it's really painful. No one can read your code. You have to check the convention. For example, the
Yeah,
hash,
that's right.
the dot,
Yeah.
the percentage. You have to check everything. And in my point of view, nowadays the editor can do all the lazy things like close the tag, that's you open. And what else you expect from XAML?
For example, we have many things like when you have something like P tag here and this is a Ruby is a Rails code, and this actually is equal to this. It's much softer when using it.
It's like convention. It's just convention. This will like translate the whole convention into the XML code when it's rendered on the screen. So it's
Just like coffee rich.
yeah, just like that. Convenient way coding like Zen coding.
Yeah. But the trade-off is quite big.
And one important thing is that every member on the team have to know about that.
Yeah, we have to
Know
know
how to
about
maintain the code, right?
Yeah.
That's right. It's one of the hard part of using the new things.
Yeah.
Not everyone have to be on the same page.
But I think listen to time when we try to use XML. Yeah, very simple.
Okay. One question. Let's have some question on designer side. The designer. Yeah. Now you are struggling with the
No,
ERB, right?
Yes, but if I change to HAML, I think I'm gonna die because it's totally different from ERB.
Yeah. So I think that we must separate between the design CS file or JavaScript file to the view.
Yeah.
However, the designers still need to do the HTML thing because they need to lay out things, they need to know where they put things on that. So there will be another step that the programmer have to sit there and convert all the HTML that the viewer HTML that they
No.
give us to HTML.
I think that when Lynn she using ERB, she have to
Learn.
learn about it. So we just learn about new thing. So I think it's not a problem.
Yeah.
We
You-
try.
The problem that you have to learn new things. That's all. Yeah.
If there's any tool that convert harm to it, switching or
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they should have something like that.
Now are you
Without
using
that.
the hand on the project?
No.
No, right? Not yet, right? Okay. Still on plan, so don't worry about that. I mean, so we're being on the same project, so.
Years 2000
Yeah.
there's some change. I used it
Yeah.
to convert.
Ah.
I'm using the HTML project.
Yeah.
At first, I think that is very complicated. But after I start to use it, I can't stop. I had more HTML is very smart way to